important that the kids are there, people are there with their families, and just to see that this is not the only opinion. So that it was, a little bit overwhelming emotionally, but that was like the one bright spot of the day.
We got to take them when you find them, right?
I had I think you had asked for suggestions. So this kind of dovetails off of that. My name's Kirsten, by the way. I had read an op-ed piece that was written by a young person who was raised in a highly religious, I don't know if it was a cult, but a very highly religious, organized family. And they talked about how they had been raised from a very young age to understand how civics works, understand how to participate in politics, and be encouraged to participate in politics. I have a nearly 7-year-old, and I was very interested in possibly creating that same kind of education. I don't expect that my daughter will get that in school, so I was interested in maybe creating a group to educate kids. I have no skills in those areas, so I'm not a teacher. I think I skated through U.S. history. I don't think I took government. So I didn't know if there was anybody who also might be interested in doing that. But we got takers who might have some skills in terms of maybe education. Or I have a lot of passion, but that's not only going to get me so
story. With government and kids.
Do you think it'd be sidebars of this story?
I just mean for like a future story. I'm gonna get good
to talk to the kids about. Okay, yeah. So John, let's send those over people over there. I don't know if maybe we could connect. Okay, perfect. Yay.
I read that article.
Yeah, it was terrifying, and I was like, wow, I really was.
So that's what they do at the homeschool.
Yes.
Instead of learning about math and science, they learn how to go argue with legislators.
I guess my biggest.
Yeah.
Like that, and it's like this protocol where they basically homeschool children, and then they believe in breeding specifically.
Right, you're right.
Evangelical to make Christians the number one population.
But basically, yeah, when there's an issue and they need somebody to call the government officials, they can ask an email chain, and the whole country is involved.
Yeah,
And they will all flood calls.
Become Republicans in office. That's why they love Pence, because
Right.
they're trying to get all of these people in office that are now changing the rules and regulations to be more religion in government and
Yes.
people actually.
And, yeah. And we just don't have that same base of people to call on, so we're at a disadvantage right there. So, there we go.
And
Okay.
they're also motivated, and since outside religion is not central to us, even if we do have religious beliefs, and it can be central, but never the same way.
Right.
Because their side feels they have to do it, or that they'll go to hell.
Right. Yeah. We just don't have a strong argument like that. Right. Yes. That's yeah.
I read in the States
Y'all saw that one article,
Which
right?
sides they're coming
We gotta be like that all the time.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. We gotta be turned
I
on.
went to an Invisible Wilco meeting, and there was a businesswoman there, and it just kept echoing in my head these last 3 weeks. She said, we need to look at this like we do in business. We have a 2-year plan, and that's the midterm elections. And now what is our quarterly plan leading up to it? And I just think this first quarter, activating a base.
Yep.
How many people were at the last meeting versus this meeting? And I was a new person at the last meeting. The indivisible movement, getting deputize the register of people to vote. These are first quarter goals, right? Leading up to that. And if all of us are plugged into our indivisible groups, it's not done. It is moving.
Plugged into now as well.
Plugging into now.
And that's one of the things, we are looking forward to the 2018 midterms, which is part of why voter registration is really, really, really we're pushing to get that done. So
We'll have a lot of events going, so y'all will be able to do schedule for sure. Did y'all see, talking about what Stephanie was talking about, did y'all see that article about the guy who said all the women are up in his grill? Yeah. So funny. That was like my favorite article of the week. For you.
So for people who are calling and getting full inboxes, by the way, I hear the best thing to do is fax next. Don't email. I know that's what they respond to, but don't email if you can avoid it, because a lot of times you'll just get an automatic response. Somebody won't actually read through things, but fax your congressperson. I know that sounds crazy, but you can do it at a FedEx office. You can do it by email.
Faxzero.com that lets you send free faxes, and then you can plug it here and send it.
I saw an interesting thing.
Faxzero.com.
Wait, did you say zero with spell that?
I saw something else interesting that someone posted when the ladies group come in. She's printing out postcards. You can go buy those things you can feed through your printer at home. And she is cut and pasting Twitter conversations that Donald says, whatever hypocrisy that he posts. She's putting it on one side and then putting hypocrite and mailing it to him. So that's something that y'all might think about. You can do that as an individual, you know, your own individual thing at home on Saturday morning. So I kind of like that idea myself.
He's closed down all communication to the outside.
Yeah, I see that there's lots of protests at Cornyn's office, Carter, Cruz, they're all showing up. Cruz doesn't want to talk to anybody, he thinks they're going to hurt him. What's that?
Cruz locked his doors, so nobody was allowed to come in, but they went to the Houston office.
I thought he had some people arrested too, didn't he?
Yeah, said that they had to go to the Austin office instead, so they doubled their numbers and went to the Austin office.
If you go to the Austin office, it's a federal building.
Right.
They make you wait in the grainy, like security guards and so much different. And some oily dude will come down and talk to you, take your thing, and won't make any notes or anything. But then Cornyn's office, they'll wave you in, tell you they're Dr. Pepper's from Waco, give you the whole ham, hammy song and dancing in your office.
They're relatively open to appointments, so if you call and set up an appointment, they're normally pretty good about at least having a staff person listen to you.
And are there tips on talking to people? Because the thing, I don't know, I have some anxiety about getting on the phone, so
I know there's a lot of groups that have group.
We went to Improv for Activists yesterday, and it's a class that we're putting on to help people get over kind of the stage fear thing. Like we had some adversity training where people had to sit in a chair in front of the group, in front of like 3 people pretending to be committee members, and just speak in front of people to like get over that. So you do it every weekend this month.
It was Saturdays in February, 3:30 to 5:30 in the Pull-Down Theater on Airport.
Are they filming it by chance? Are they going to film it?
I don't think so.
Ah, too
A
bad.
lot of the Pull-Down Theater.
You know, and we want to support other people in the country, and obviously we want to get Trump out of there as fast as we can, but we got our own crap to deal with here in Texas, and everybody's watching us. Other states look to us and what we're doing and what we're not doing, so we need to really set an example that this shit ain't going down anymore in our state, and we're going to do everything that we can to reverse it. So voting is one of the biggest things. Get people deputized, register people to vote, get people to vote. You know, that's going to be our primary thing, because 2018 is right down the pike, just like Stephanie said, and it'll be here before we know it. So we got to act.